because it's not as easy to raise kids in this country as we think. So when my son suddenly jumped out of there running car, he's 18. I had to call the cops because if in case my husband decides to call the cops first, I lose my license, because my husband can say I caused him harm. And when the cops showed up, they said they're going to arrest me because I'm transporting a 18-year-old against his will, and it's considered kidnapping, it seems. And I didn't know
Gosh.
it was like that bad. So I actually was telling the cop, I said, I'm appalled. I said, first of all, I called you for support. This
Hmm.
kid ran and like jumped out of running car. Instead of coming and supporting a family, like I cannot even comprehend how you guys look at me and say they're going to arrest me. And I said, this just boggles my mind.
Yeah, me
So
too.
then there was a elder cop. He was nicer, and that's only because I know my rights. You guys, I feel so bad because you're in the same shoe, but because you don't have the wits to like argue with the cops, it
Right,
gets
right.
to be a problem. So the elder cop, finally got it. He says, oh, and I said, my husband has called police on me before. I said, when I was pregnant with my youngest one. And because he called first, he became the victim, and I'm the abuser, and I was
That's what
pregnant, I was
happened to me.
homeless.
Yep.
And I said, so he says, that didn't happen on my watch. And I said, hello, that's considered abuse. I said, I cannot believe you guys. I said,
Yeah.
you are not keeping us together safe. You are doing this law thing, which is sabotaging a family. So then afterwards, the elder cop looked at my son and he says, do you still live with their parents? He says, yes. Are they providing food and clothing and shelter? Yes. Wouldn't it be courteous for you to be nice to your mother? That's all they had to say, right?
Yeah, it
So,
is. Yeah.
so then I said, you better get in the car. I said, this is not okay. And is this what I raised? To be like this? And my youngest one then got activated. He wanted to get out of the car. I said, you're 15. I said, you better get in the car. So they said, yes, you need to be in the car because she's responsible. So my son tells them, I'm afraid she's going to take off. So they blocked me, top and bottom, the car. And even after he gets into the car, he calls his dad. So he's not even respecting my authority. He's not even listening to me. And he called his dad to ask permission what to do. And my husband says, give the phone to mom. And when he came on the phone, I told him, hey, only one question you need answer. Am I coming to New Hampshire or are you coming down to Massachusetts? That's all we are talking about. And he says to me, neither is happening. And I hung up on him. I took off my wedding ring. And I said, I'm done, because I feel in crisis you do not negotiate. The safety comes first for the family.
Right.
So my husband, ended up coming back. And I told him, I said, it's not working this because I'm now raising adult kids which don't respect me at all. So either you be around so
Yeah.
we can implement the rule, or I have to have another plan. So I told him I need to go to the court to find out. He says you need to get out then. You cannot stay with us anymore. And I said, when do you want me to leave? Tonight? And he says, if you go to the court, you lose your rights in this home. And if you do not go to the court, we will negotiate. I said, I have to figure out what my rights are too. So he says, okay, go gather the information and we'll decide. And come to find out, adult kids, you need to have a 90-day plan. So they cannot just like that throw it out. So I told my husband that same thing applies to me. You cannot just like that say you need to leave. I'm telling you because you can use that. You need to have a 90-day plan. Every 90 day you reassess the plan and figure out whether we need to adjust the plan. So everybody has rights, not just the kids, the adults have rights. And because I pay for the mortgage, my husband may need to make sure the fridge is full. So one person is responsible to keep because if you don't keep the fridge full, it's considered abandonment. So they can arrest you for that. One kid, every kid who gets into the car needs to have a plan who they're going to responsible, who they are accountable for. So if the one parent who is home, they need to report to them whether they like it or not.
Right.
So I asked my middle one, I said, what do you think is my role in future? Everybody, including my husband, says, just give us money. That's all we want from you. I said, in that case, I said, I'll give you money, but I said, you guys are free, but not independent. You need to show me you can pay your own rent, you can move out, you can, like, put food in your belly. Then only I will consider you independent. If you are not doing that, I have to take a stance that I am
I
responsible for
think you're doing
you.
a good job.
So I told my husband that includes you too. Like, you need to, because you cannot just like that take off, right? So I'm doing three generations. My father, who's not independent, my husband, who's not independent, my kids who are not independent. They're free, but that doesn't mean they are capable of taking care of themselves. And I told my youngest one, he's still, I need to raise him for another 4 years. So
They'll
we are
find
coming
out.
together as a nuclear family situation where we have to have a different type of responsibility for adults, but we're staying together because I'm committed to being in a relationship with them. But that doesn't mean I need to be married to that old concept. That old concept doesn't work. Me being responsible and he has no accountability doesn't work either. So I really have to come back to another space. So what I'm saying is find out your right. 90-day plan is what they are saying. It's a 39-page document I found online. It's called How to Raise Post, Adult Foster Children or Adults. So I think that will help you because even with your girlfriend, you can use the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened? You have a headache?
Yeah.
So you understand what I shared? Like, does it help you?
Yes.
So 90-day plan is what you need to make.
I'm just.
And I'm going to bring up the document so that next week I can even do like salient point what they say. Like I said, they you need to have a plan in action, okay? And this 90-day plan, you need to draw it up so both will be in agreement. And I'm gonna bring up the
Now, what did you say the thing was?
I'm gonna because it's a federal law.
See,
So
I wanted to know. I knew over the old place where we lived that the lady there woke up in the morning would wake us up. If I was late getting up, that lady, I knew she was up. She was always up in the morning with me. So I knew she woke us up. How she was doing it over there. How was she doing it since home? I want to see, you know, how she's being cared for. Now, I get everything written down. How I think it should be.
I see.
She goes, this is the most she does look at. Those right there.
Oh.
It's it.
Let me bring up where it says about because that's all I have been doing research on 90-day plan,
She's so
and
happy. Yeah.
that's good. Because I think it will really be very, very beneficial for everybody understanding their rights. Because I think I have to write another book now.
Oh,
There's like a boring way to be happy with the dysfunctional family. I think I'm going to do second volume where adult children, what are our rights?
Has a lot of those.
Because I think people don't understand what they're see. Like if I didn't tell you, it would worry you, right? Like being thrown out and stuff. And I feel, and that's the same place I was holding too. I was very afraid. I didn't know what my rights were, and that's all I did on research. Child research, adopting. So it's called childwelfare.gov. Welfare.gov.
Well,
Mm-hmm. .gov. G-O-V.
GOB.
G-O-V.
Oh. capital G?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And I think it was a PDF file I downloaded. Let me go back to downloads. They had a very nice information facilitating sample state to extend. So this one, it's called, it's a sample state legislation to extend foster care, adoption, and guardianship protections and payments to 18 young adults 18 and older. June 2010 from American Bar Association on Child and Law, Center for Law and Social Policy, Child's Defense Fund. And I can actually email it to you.
And what's the name
It's called, huh?
What's the name of
The website you mean?
Yeah.
Childwelfare.gov, and it says adopting an adult. Because what happens is the same rule apply for everybody. So adoption has no limits. It applies to everybody, it says, okay? And if you understand that there, it says, like I can go through quickly, like, you know, it says, it is put together by American Law Association. And what it here, so you see here, fostering connection requires that in 90-day period, you, before the child turns 21, that is for 21-year-old. But if they are more than, like, you know, 24, I mean 21, you have other provisions too. But like, you know, it says you need to have independent living agency consistent with treatment plan, physical, mental health, substance abuse treatment plan. So this is just for adoption, but what I'm saying is you can use it as a template to bring or get, what is it called, structure into your living situation. You understand? Like for me, I never enforced my rights at home. Like, you know, whenever my husband used to say it, because my kids were babies in the past,
Yeah.
and I felt when they don't speak up, I don't want to speak up either. But now that my son is showing signs he wants to be independent,
Right.
it is time for me to speak up because it's nice. I told him it's very good he's trying to be independent, but he needs to understand just because he's free doesn't mean he's independent yet. Because if you don't pay your rent,
Right.
if you don't have a job, if you're expecting a parent to feed you, and
Unexpected bill,
Yeah.
cold or something, you don't have insurance.
yes. So I feel like, you know, that's where because they still have adult body but the brain of a kid. So they are big kids in their brain, but like, you know, still have, like, you know, adult like body. So they imagine they're normal. You know, like I'm not saying abnormal in a bad way, but I feel they are not adult yet. But they unfortunately don't understand. They don't qualify to be alone living. Like, you know, like I need to make sure their safety is not hurt, and that includes everybody in my family, even my husband. I love him enough to, like, you know, support him. You know, I'm not saying I'm not going to give you money and stuff, but I feel, you know, if I don't understand my right, like how he says you need to get out, I believe that's the truth. That's a lie. That's just like that applies to the 90-day, it applies to me too. So that made it very easy for me. So I understood, okay, his role is he needs to make sure fridge is full. Doesn't matter. And for me, my role is to make sure I make the money. So we don't lose mortgage, we don't put them on the streets. And in turn, if by chance I need to transport them, we need to have a plan even before we leave New Hampshire that we have agreed what would be the expectation from the kid. So I think that helped me a lot. So I hope it helps you. Would it help you?
Yeah.
So you kind of understand what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And but your child is younger. But remember, you both are kind of like, you know, supporting each other in the same way. So do the 90-day plan with Carrie. Like, you know, like I'm saying,